Thank you, Admiral Verma, for that wonderful opening remarks and welcome address. And it's an absolute joy for me to be able to welcome each one of you all today. We've got a long day ahead, and by long I don't mean just in measure of time, but by the length of communication and conversation and content which will be happening during the course of the next couple of hours. I've got an 8-page conversation which I want to have with you. Apologies for being able to crunch it down to 3, but no apologies because much of what I was going to share has already been shared by Admiral Verma, and many thanks to him. Srimati Chandrima Bhattacharya, Honorable Minister of State, she would be arriving any moment right now. And Shri Malay Kumar De, Additional Chief Secretary and Principal Secretary, Health and Family Welfare, Government of West Bengal. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion. You've been an inspiration for us from the healthcare industry. Came in yesterday night and made it possible to be able to be over here. Thank you for the time and involvement and inspiration which you provide to the leadership in the healthcare fraternity. The Rear Admiral retired A.K. Verma, Chairman for the CII Eastern Region, a person non gratis who is actually inspiring a plethora of leaders across verticals in industry and has a special place for the healthcare vertical that we have. In most of the Eastern Regional Council meets that we have, he's been very evocative of his praise for both Rupak and myself, and we are deeply grateful to you for honoring us in that manner. Dr. James W. Long needs no introduction, was here in this very platform in the year 2012 and is going to bring to us a special address. And then Vishal Bali, Mr. Bali has been a great inspiration too. And I remember the time 10 years back when I started my journey in healthcare industry, and I was grooming leadership myself from across different verticals, and we would only connect at conferences. And I remember actually telling my guys, leadership that I was grooming, that if you want to learn about healthcare, you spend 5 minutes with him. And it's been a joy to be able to interact on various platforms, and thank you so much. He's also had an excruciating travel itinerary, walked in at 4 o'clock this morning and is here bright and early for the address that we have. I only wish that we could have him later during the day, but unfortunately, because of his travel schedules, he will not be able to share his wisdom on home healthcare, which is something deeply passionate, which he carries in his heart and which he started as an entrepreneurial venture. Dr. Rupali Basu needs absolutely no introduction or words of encouragement, praise, support, or whatever from my side. She's been a buddy, a friend, she's been a supporter, and she's been a great leader for the face of healthcare and a great ambassador for healthcare in Eastern India. I keep joking with her, and it's not a joke, that she's a face for healthcare East. And today it's a joy to be on the same platform and be able to share in the wisdom that is going to be imparted in a few minutes with us. Rupak has been a friend, a colleague, industry leader, and he serves as the co-chairman and for CII Eastern Region, and is also the CEO for the the AMRI group of hospitals. Dr. Shaugat Mukherjee, of course, has been the bedrock of what CII stands for and is serving as the regional director for CII Eastern India. I would be failing if I don't acknowledge also in the same breath Dipankar Bhattacharya, who's a wonderful fellow colleague and has been the inspiration behind getting this wonderful stage set for today. Thank you, and keep on doing well, much beyond the 10 years that you've served over the next decade. Distinguished guests, Diana Agarwal, thank you so much for being a part of this day today. You have been a bedrock for this industry too, so thank you for taking the time to be here. Friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, thank you for coming over and being a part of this event. Without your support, this industry itself will not get the credibility it deserves, the right kind of credibility, rather than the newsworthy credits which keep coming across to us. Delighted to be able to provide the welcome address for the theme today, which is working towards health for all. It was in January, and I'll skip through most of the ad nauseum figures for the MDGs and SDGs which is going on, because we've got a whole day of content which will be coming on from extremely illustrious speakers, which will be coming and sharing in a few moments. And it was in January this year, 2015, and I remember I was in the National Committee, and Vishal and myself, we were just chatting about this flagship event, and I remember him telling that whenever we are exposing industry with the audience over here, it's best to have only one or two teams driving. And it made sense because oftentimes in conferences like this, we have a plethora of subjects to discuss, and sometimes it gets lost in the morass of what we are wanting to deliver. So Vishal, thanks a lot for being a deciding factor on how we are moving ahead. And then it was Rear Admiral Verma who in his wisdom said that East does not only mean Calcutta or West Bengal. CII Eastern region actually envelops Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Orissa, and West Bengal. And today I'm extremely excited that during the course of the day, we have got one special plenary, which is healthcare in the states of India, and we will hope to cover a fair amount of ground in the next few minutes. The last minute that I've spoken has been a very interesting minute because the way the world is rapidly changing is totally something that we have perhaps not been prepared for. And I remember Vishal sharing it in greater detail, but let me try to do the same with you. In the last minute that we have spent, 204 million emails have been exchanged. Pause for a moment. For the every 5 or 6 emails that we have to respond to in a day or in an hour, in the last 1 minute, 204 million emails have been exchanged. 20 million pictures, or pics as we call them now in the social media, have been viewed. 100,000 tweets have been exchanged. 6 million views and 277,000 Facebook logins have happened. I know some of you all are on your smartphones right now. And while we are Googling and searching this data which I've shared with you, in this last minute, 2 million plus Google searches have happened. So it's a new day, it's a new age. What worked at the turn of the century for meeting the healthcare needs is going to change. Today's consumer has his solutions in his palm. So India, with 1.26 billion people, is at the cusp and at an inflection point from where it can actually launch onto the next level or forever remain behind. And the challenge lies in with you and me. So the challenge that we have is with 1.26 billion people, we have consumers of more than 500 million people who are using mobile phones. But infrastructurally, we've only got 1.3 million beds. Today's time and age that we are in, and I'm sure technology is going to be the enabler, a pizza arrives faster than an ambulance comes. And with respect to some of my colleagues who waited for an ambulance and have lost a loved one. But that's the dichotomy that we have. Today's day would not be complete if we do not have a very healthy perspective of where we are headed. And today I want to share that with the plenaries that we have, there are a couple of themes that need to be addressed. Healthcare, working towards healthcare for all is a theme, and which basically has 2 or 3 very, very simple premises. It basically means that healthcare for all would mean not just that 30% of 1.26 billion people, which is concentrated in the urban centers and the cities and the metros. It also envelops and involves the 70% of people who do not have access to basic health care and cannot afford the basic health care that we spoke about. A very interesting statistic is that WHO has published in 2012, 33% of the healthcare expenditure has come from the government. Of the remaining, 86% was out of pocket. This is a great burden on the diaspora of Indians that we are serving at this point of time. What it translates is if we take a step away from the figures, then we realize that every single year, 2%, it's a staggering amount, 1.26 billion people. Every year, 2% of the population of India is being pushed below the poverty line because of healthcare expenditure. I think you and I have a responsibility. And due to brevity of time, I'm sure that a lot of valuable inputs will be coming across from the rest of the plenary speakers that we have. But I just wanted to end with just a couple of thoughts. And is the challenge before us will not go away by addressing the problem the same way we addressed it in the last decade. Today, the enablers are different. Today, the solutions are going to be different. Today, when you walk out, you'll see some of our sponsors, which is technology-based. And we thank the sponsors over here. I'm sure that Rupak will be sharing in greater detail on that. But without IT and without technology and without mobile enablement, I think today we are staring at imminent failure. And failure not in terms of us not being able to meet the MDG goals, the Millennium Development Goals, right now the Sustainable Development Goals, but failure in our ability to reach out to the most underserved person in this country today with not quaternary and special cutting-edge technology healthcare, but I'm talking about basic healthcare. And today, you and I, as industry leaders, as fraternity from the industry, need to ensure that we are working towards healthcare for all. Will the solution come today? Probably not. Will the solution come over the next few years? Possibly, if we decide to make a difference. Change, like they say, comes from only one person, and one person is enough to make that change happen. Who will be that one person? And as I bring my conversation to a close, we talked about minutes right at the beginning. Let me share the impact of this minute, which we've spent in this audience today, is that while we've been speaking in the last 1 minute, one child in this country has died because of severe malnutrition. There's one person who dies every single minute because of tuberculosis. Every 8 minutes, a woman is dying with a pregnancy condition due to preventable reasons. And in this last 1 minute, 29 more people have been born into our wonderful country. Wise men have said that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. Blessings. Have a wonderful conference. May God be on all of your endeavors.